Humans have always been fascinated by stories of mysterious creatures, from sea monsters to giant beasts on land. The existence of these creatures, based mostly on legends and hearsay, has sparked a deep curiosity about the natural world. Among these, the unicorn is a standout legend, with a captivating story that led scientists to a real and bizarre discovery. This journey not only sheds light on the origins of a mythical creature, but also proves that sometimes fairy tales are the starting point for great scientific breakthroughs. The unicorn in early civilizations. The earliest Western records of a unicorn-like creature appeared in Indica by Ctesias in the 4th century BC. Notably, Ctesias's account was presented as part of a natural history rather than mythology, describing a swift, one-horned wild beast with a coat of white, red, and black. It was believed that its horn had healing properties, capable of curing all diseases. The ancient Greeks called this species monoceros, which was later translated into Latin as unicornus or unicorn. Pliny the Elder, a Roman naturalist, enriched the legend in his work, Natural History, describing the unicorn, sometimes called the monoceros, as a fierce, elusive creature with the body of a horse, the head of a stag, the feet of an elephant, the tail of a boar, and a black horn 3 feet long. However, modern historians believe that Ctesias's description may have combined details from several real animals, such as the Indian rhinoceros, and much of Pliny's natural history has been deemed highly improbable. Among the earliest images of a one-horned creature are the seals from the Indus Valley civilization, circa 2600 to 1900 BC in South Asia. These iconic seals depict an animal, often resembling a bull or antelope, carved in a one-horned profile, typically facing right and featuring a distinctive long neck and stylized features. The unicorn motif was the most common animal image found on these seals, suggesting a significant cultural or religious meaning, possibly related to trade or rituals. The exact identity of the animal on these seals remains debated due to the undeciphered Indus script. In China, the unicorn is called the qilin, a mythical chimerical creature often translated as unicorn. It is commonly depicted with the body of a deer or ox, the tail of an ox, and a single horn on its forehead, although it can sometimes be described with 2 horns as well. The qilin was known for its gentle nature, not harming living plants, and its rare appearance signaled the impending birth or death of a great sage or ruler, famously having foretold the greatness of Confucius. An interesting real-world connection emerged in 1414 when a live giraffe, brought back to China from East Africa by Zheng He's fleet, was presented to the Ming Emperor Yongle as a qilin. Chinese officials and scholars noted the striking resemblance to their mythological description, suggesting that existing legends can shape the interpretation of newly discovered exotic animals. When examining the descriptions of the unicorn from ancient Greece, the Indus Valley, and China, Ctesias's speedy beast, the Indus bull, antelope, the qilin's deer, ox, dragon form, an incredible diversity emerges. Despite these distinct physical traits, the central motif of a powerful, often benevolent, one-horned creature persists. This suggests that the unicorn was not a fixed image, but a flexible archetype that adapted and integrated elements from local fauna and prevalent cultural symbols. The fake horns and the truth about the narwhal. During the Middle Ages and Renaissance, long spiraled horns began to be widely sold in European markets. People at the time didn't know which animal these horns belonged to, but they had heard the legend of the unicorn and believed that this was a part of its body. In reality, these horns were the tusks of the narwhal, a marine mammal that lives in the icy waters of the Arctic. Hunters took advantage of this belief to get rich by selling fake unicorn horns. Narwhal tusks were widely traded in medieval Europe, believed to possess magical properties including the ability to detect and neutralize poison, as well as to cure various illnesses from epilepsy to the plague. Consequently, they were extremely valuable, sometimes worth 10 times their weight in gold. Kings and popes were also willing to pay high prices to own what they believed was proof of the unicorn's existence. It wasn't until Scandinavian sailors began trading narwhal tusks that the unicorn in legends began to be depicted with a spiraled horn, just like the narwhal's tusk. Elasmotherium, the giant rhino of Eurasia. The prehistoric animal with the closest link to early unicorn myths is Elasmotherium sibiricum, often dubbed the Siberian unicorn. This giant rhinoceros was an Ice Age behemoth, weighing up to 3.5 tons, twice that of a modern rhino, and measuring up to 15 feet long, a size comparable to a modern elephant. Its most notable feature was a massive single horn, potentially as long as 6.5 feet, protruding from its forehead and likely composed of keratin. Unlike modern rhinoceroses, the Elasmotherium possessed unusually high-crowned teeth that grew continuously, an adaptation for grazing on tough, dry grasses. Its longer horse-like legs were well suited for galloping across the open grasslands of Eurasia where it lived, a range that stretched from southwestern Russia and Ukraine to Kazakhstan and Siberia. For a long time, it was believed that Elasmotherium sibiricum went extinct between 200,000 and 100,000 years ago. However, more advanced radiocarbon dating of 23 fossil samples dramatically shifted this timeline, confirming its existence until at least 39,000 years ago, and possibly as recently as 35,000 years ago. This crucial redating shows that Elasmotherium coexisted with both modern humans and Neanderthals across Eurasia. Its extinction around 39,000 years ago is primarily attributed to significant climate shifts during that period, along with its specialized grazing diet and naturally low population numbers, rather than human hunting, for which there is no archaeological evidence. Bridging paleontology and folklore. The striking appearance of the Elasmotherium, particularly its single massive horn and its horse-like gait, makes it a very likely candidate for inspiring unicorn legends prevalent in the Northern Hemisphere. The memory of such a distinctive animal, encountered by early humans for hundreds of thousands of years, could easily survive through oral traditions and folklore. In fact, the Siberian rhino is often considered the chubby unicorn among the mythical creatures that have been proven to have a real-world basis, having directly inspired unicorn myths across various cultures. While some cave paintings of large horned animals remain a subject of debate, evidence from sites such as the Kapova cave in regions where Elasmotherium fossils were found show depictions of a stout single horn, strengthening its potential influence on ancient art and legends. The redating of Elasmotherium's extinction to around 39,000 to 35,000 years ago is critical information. This new timeline places the Siberian unicorn in direct coexistence with early modern humans and Neanderthals. This was not just a potential inspiration, but a highly probable direct encounter between our ancestors and a gigantic, one-horned horse-like creature. Such an extraordinary animal would undoubtedly have left a profound impression, directly influencing oral traditions and contributing to the birth of the pervasive unicorn myths that have survived for millennia. This significantly strengthens the argument that many myths, rather than being pure fiction, are deeply rooted in direct human encounters with extraordinary and now extinct megafauna. It reveals a remarkable and long-lasting cultural memory of significant natural phenomena passed down through generations. The initial belief that Elasmotherium went extinct much earlier, 200,000 to 100,000 years ago, meant that for a long time it was largely disconnected from the creation of myth in the human era in scientific discussions. Its redating through advanced scientific methods, specifically the radiocarbon dating of multiple specimens, fundamentally changed this understanding. This illustrates how scientific knowledge is not static, but is continuously evolving and being refined with new evidence, improved technology, and more rigorous analytical techniques. Okapi, Africa's mysterious unicorn. Revealed throughout the 1800s, European newspapers continuously ran stories of a strange beast dubbed the African unicorn to captivate their readers. Local communities, particularly the Mbuti people in the Congo, possessed detailed knowledge of this elusive creature, which they called the Okapi. They described it as a donkey-like, reddish-brown animal with black and white stripes on its legs. Early European explorers such as Philip Goss, 1861, and Sir Henry Stanley, 1887, in Antarctic Africa, also recorded local reports of a mysterious horned animal, further fueling speculation about the African unicorn. The nickname African unicorn persisted because the Okapi's overall body structure is horse-like, and its horns have a unique appearance. From certain angles, the male Okapi's two small horns, ossicones, can appear to be a single horn, reinforcing the connection to the myth. Sir Harry Johnston's pioneering expeditions. Sir Harry Johnston, a British official, was instrumental in the discovery of the Okapi. In 1899, while on a mission to rescue the Mbuti people from German soldiers, Johnston learned of the mysterious Okapi. The indigenous Mbuti confirmed they knew the animal well and led him to its habitat. However, Johnston's initial skepticism arose when he observed tracks that were more deer-like than horse-like, leading him to abandon his first direct search. His expedition was also hampered by harsh conditions and widespread malaria among his crew. Despite the early setbacks, Johnston persevered. A Belgian officer provided him with a piece of the animal's skin, although the information was initially kept secret due to the fierce competition among European nations for the right to name new species. In November 1900, Johnston sent the skin samples to the Zoological Society of London. A year later, analysis confirmed it was a species previously undescribed by science. The final compelling evidence arrived when a Swedish lieutenant provided both a complete skull and skin of the animal. Through a meticulous study of these specimens, Johnston concluded that the creature was related to the giraffe, albeit with a shorter neck and two small horns instead of one. In July 1901, the African unicorn was officially named Okapia johnstoni, with Okapi meaning long-necked animal, Okapi, a unique forest giraffe. The Okapi is the only living relative of the giraffe, sharing traits such as 7 neck vertebrae, like most mammals, and a long, dark, prehensile tongue, up to 12 inches long, used for stripping leaves, buds, and branches, as well as for meticulous grooming, including cleaning its eyes and ears. It possesses large, upright, flexible ears, 10 inches long, that can rotate independently, giving it acute hearing to detect predators like leopards. Its coat is thick, velvety, and oily, predominantly a reddish-brown, with striking zebra-like black and white stripes on its hindquarters and white socks on its lower legs. These stripes provide excellent camouflage in the dappled sunlight of its dense rainforest environment and help young follow their mothers. Only male okapis have small, skin-covered horns called ossicones, which are angled backward to avoid snagging on forest branches. Okapis are shy, solitary, and elusive creatures, found only in the dense tropical rainforests of the Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC, and a small portion of northeastern Uganda. They are the national animal of the DRC and even appear on local banknotes. Unlike giraffes, okapis are forest browsers, eating leaves from over 100 plant and tree species at lower levels, consuming 40 to 65 pounds per day. They also eat clay and burnt charcoal for mineral supplements. They are relatively quiet animals, communicating with soft coughs or the whistling calls of hungry calves. They mark their territory with a tar-like substance secreted from their hooves. Okapis are most active from the afternoon to evening, often traveling along trails that have been used for generations. Okapi mothers hide their calves in secluded nests, returning only to nurse them. As a keystone species, the Okapi plays a critical role in maintaining the health and biodiversity of the Ituri forest ecosystem, contributing to global climate regulation. Although clearly classified within the family Giraffidae, making them the giraffe's closest relatives, okapis have a distinct body shape with shorter necks and legs, adapted for navigating the forest. They are allopatric species, residing in different geographical areas than giraffes. Notably, some researchers, based on differences in reproductive organs, fetuses, bile, acid salts, and bone anatomy, have dissented, suggesting okapis may be more closely related to antelopes within the bovid family than to giraffes, highlighting the ongoing scientific debate. Sir Harry Johnston's discovery of the Okapi was not a singular heroic endeavor. It was a complex, multifaceted process that began with invaluable indigenous knowledge from the Mbuti people, who provided the name Okapi and the initial physical evidence, skin samples. Johnston's journey included initial skepticism based on tracks, failed expeditions due to environmental challenges like malaria, and the crucial sharing of information and specimens by other European officers, Belgian and Swedish. The fierce competition among European nations for naming rights, while initially a hurdle to the flow of information, ultimately underscored the intense scientific interest in the eventual triumph of collaborative verification, sending samples to the Zoological Society of London. This story powerfully illustrates that major scientific breakthroughs are rarely individual events. Instead, they are often the culmination of diverse contributions, overcoming significant logistical, political, and environmental challenges, and relying heavily on a network of information exchange, cross-cultural cooperation, and rigorous scientific verification. It highlights the indispensable role of indigenous knowledge in guiding and accelerating Western scientific endeavors. Conservation status and future outlook. Despite its elusive nature, the Okapi faces significant threats. Its tracks are easily detected, making it a vulnerable target for illegal hunting and poaching. It is often brutally hunted, driven into pit traps, and speared to death. The Okapi is currently classified as endangered on the IUCN Red List of Threatened Species. Research and conservation strategies are crucial for its survival. Organizations like the Okapi Conservation Project are actively working to protect this species and its critical rainforest habitat. The Okapi's transformation from an African unicorn, a largely mythical, nearly untouchable concept, to a scientifically classified species, Okapia johnstoni, represents a profound shift. This scientific act of realization paradoxically subjected the animal to new and immediate threats. Once a hidden legend known only to local communities, its existence became widely publicized, leading to museums collecting specimens and, tragically, intensified hunting and poaching. The very act of bringing it into scientific light and public awareness inadvertently pushed it into the realm of human exploitation and, consequently, a precarious conservation status, endangered. This demonstrates a crucial, often unforeseen consequence of scientific discovery. While it brings understanding, wonder, and the expansion of human knowledge, it can also expose previously unknown or protected species to significant human pressures. This underscores the profound responsibility that comes with scientific knowledge and the urgent need for robust conservation efforts once a species is identified and its habitat revealed. The enduring power of curiosity and discovery. The journey of the unicorn, from its ancient, diverse mythical forms across cultures, Indus Valley Greek, Chinese, to the scientific confirmation of its real-world inspirations, like the prehistoric Elasmotherium and the elusive Okapi, illustrates the profound interplay between human imagination and scientific rigor. Myths, born from observations and cultural narratives, often ignite the very curiosity that drives rigorous scientific inquiry. While many cryptids continue to elude scientific confirmation, the history of discovery includes creatures like the giant squid, manatee, and oarfish, once considered mythical, underscoring that the natural world holds countless secrets. The relatively recent discovery of the Okapi in the early 20th century and the first live photographs of the giant squid in the 21st century highlight that vast areas of our planet, particularly the deep oceans and dense rainforests, remain largely unexplored. The fact that large animals like the Okapi were only scientifically discovered in the early 20th century, and others, such as the giant squid, were first photographed in their natural habitat in the 21st century, makes it clear that vast areas of the natural world, particularly the deep oceans and dense rainforests, remain largely unexplored. This ongoing lack of comprehensive knowledge, along with the public's continued interest in mythical creatures, suggests that the age of discovery in natural history is far from over. This implies that the fundamental appeal of the unknown and the potential for new significant biological discoveries are enduring aspects of human curiosity. This ensures that the captivating interplay between myth and scientific reality will continue to drive exploration and shape our evolving understanding of Earth's biodiversity for generations to come. Life is full of surprises, and the more we explore, the more we realize how many mysteries are still out there. From the deepest parts of the ocean to the far reaches of the cosmos, There are countless things waiting for us to discover. Let's take a moment to reflect on what humans still don't know, the big questions that science is still seeking answers to. What do you want to explore next? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to follow the channel so you don't miss out on these exciting journeys.